All right, here we are back now for a wonderful session with Toni Reilly. And please welcome along Toni Reilly. Right, lovely. I hope you've all done your research, had a look at what's happening. Now, we're going to talk about past lives.
My microphone's not on. Yes, it is on.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Okay, there we go.
There we are. So how long have you been involved in past lives?
Oh, for about 20 years.
Oh, is that all? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So what attracted you to past lives in the first place?
Oh, well, I experienced one myself, and the reason that I did that was to fix some fears that I had, and it worked. So
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We all have fear of some reason. Now, I always use the acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
Ooh.
And so often that is what fear is. But it's down there, isn't it? And quite often involved in past lives.
I think sometimes with the past life fears, they make no sense.
No.
And there's no evidential reason for them to be there now in this life. So they're a little bit different to the everyday fears that we might feel, more phobic.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I've involved in past lives for a long time now and studied it and whatever. So how did you develop your past life expertise?
Oh, well, firsthand, anecdotally, observing many thousands of regressions, guiding people into past lives, not just past lives, beyond, into the in-between, and also sessions that would turn out much like a near-death experience, but it's facilitated. So through all of these observations, gathered all the evidence or gathered all of the information, and that's where it all developed from.
Fantastic. Well, I've learned a lot about myself from past lives, and I've written a book. You've written books too, haven't you?
Yes.
So we've done that. How can we help people here today to work on, understand, and benefit from their past lives?
Oh, well, I'm going to explain to you how that can happen.
Good.
Yes, and how it works, why it works, and what the process is like to heal with them.
Wonderful. Well, that is why we are here. So please give a wonderful, warm welcome to Toni Reilly and Past Lives. Thank you, Toni.
Thank you. Whoa, away we go. It's so dark up there, so I can't really see you all, but you can hear me because I can hear myself. So we're going to be talking about exploring past lives and reincarnation, and towards the end we'll take some questions as well, so that if you have anything that you want to ask throughout or that you get curious about throughout the talk, then you can ask at the end or towards the end. So I didn't test my clicker, but it could be this. I think I just turned it off. Sorry, everyone. I don't think that's related to a past life, but it's got to turn it back on. Oh dear. Anyway, we'll continue. I'm not going to press any buttons until I know which button to press. Guess what? It was the most obvious button. Okay, so when you explore your past lives, sometimes they'll come to you in a dream. Sometimes they'll come to you through a sporadic memory. Sometimes you might have it facilitated or have a recall in while you're doing a meditation. But one way or another, if you start to see yourself in different lifetimes, you start to understand the meaning of this life and why you're here, and life in general starts to make sense. Not just for yourself, but for all the people that impact you and who you impact through your lifetime, this life. So really, past lives are not about dwelling in the past, they're about making this life better. So we're always looking for threads of information in the past life to help people understand how they feel now or why something's happening to them. So, and it's very profound because when you are exploring your past life, it's coming through your soul memories that remember what's happened throughout all of your lifetimes. Wonder what that was. Oh, dear. Okay, we shall continue. So before you're born in this lifetime or into this lifetime, the life is mapped out. Some call it a blueprint, but everything that you experience in this lifetime is meant to play out, and it will ultimately teach you more about who you are in this life. I notice with a lot of talk around the past lives is people think that they're paying for what they've done before. There's karmic residue. They're coming back to do that. But we've lived so many times before that each life is contained within that lifetime. So when we leave this life, we have a clean slate again, and we'll be coming back to do something. And what we discovered through doing so many thousands of regressions is that life is quite simple, just as it is now, and the same things matter to us then as they do now. Things like meeting someone that you connect with, absolutely loving your parents or not, having a child, getting married, someone dying and you feeling very upset about it. All of those things, the same things that affect us now or have a profound impact, did then as well, even since caveman days when we were pretty well first humans. So as far back as people go, the same thread is always about emotions, always. So that is, I think, something that is missed, that's the common thread of life, and the reason why we come or why we're here. We're here to have the human experience, and the human experience can only be had with a body and a brain and feelings. Very different when we're in our energetic state and not in a body. So while we're here, as Sam is depicting, we have all sorts of emotions going on, and they'll be happening at different times through our lives. And if we start to feel blocked, we don't know what's coming next, or we have some odd fears that make no sense, even something as simple as being afraid of dogs, for example, but perhaps you've never had an encounter with a dog that would make you be wary, then all of these things can be traced back to when it's happened before, and it's coming up for you to address now. And when you go into your past life and find the core reason behind any fear or phobia or any physical symptom that makes no sense, you get instant relief. So it's very exciting how it all happens. Maybe could you give me a show of hands who has experienced a past life? Fantastic. Okay, and if you haven't, or even if you have, we're having a workshop after this, an hour after this talk. So if you come along to that, I'm going to guide you into a past life, or at least you can remember a few scenes. So there we go. So the life is mapped out when we're born. It is every time. And what we do within the lifetime will be related to what's going on through whatever is happening to humanity at the time. So right now we're in a real awakening phase, and a lot of things are changing, which I'm sure we're all aware of, watching the news and just how we feel within ourselves. But way back in history, we were doing very different things. Maybe back in medieval times, we were learning how to farm land, for example, and that would be what everything was around, rather than that it was a big emphasis on self-awareness, which is what I feel things are very much about now, or in this life, very different focuses of each generation and each century. So there we go. A life is mapped out, and you can find out what your map is. We called it Life Map in our system, and it really, you can find out a whole lot from your date of birth, about your character. You will find out what you're facing in this life, what your vulnerabilities are, and all of the details in between are maybe not known to you yet, but you can tune to them, and so can people who are intuitive or psychic even. So, and that's the reason why they can, is because it's been mapped out before. So when you perhaps as a child have a dream and you feel like I'm going to do this, and you do, it's because it was always going to be that way. So dreams are not, when we talk about them as dreams, they're not just fantasy. You're remembering your plan. So, and that's often a lot of people have insight about their own life, what's happening. I had a feeling this would happen. I had a feeling this would happen when I was 40, or those kinds of things. So it's because we do know, subconsciously we do know. So let's keep going. So how do the past lives influence this life that we're living now? We covered these a little bit, but when we talk about issues that make no sense, some examples of that would be, well, this is a big example, but if you are deathly afraid of speaking in front of people, but there's no reason for it, you haven't experienced anything that would stop you, then it would be an obvious sign that something's happened in a past life from you speaking that stops you doing it now. So there's this subconscious fear there. Recurring life themes is something, it can be things that you recognize in this life, such as certain relationships, if you attract in the same type of person or you behave in the same type of way. It's still your life map this time, but if there are these themes occurring or reoccurring, you can delve into your past lives and potentially see many times where you have had the same feeling or had the same experience or done the same thing. And then if you are faced with this truth, a past truth of yours, then if it's to stop now, or even if you are just to understand why you do things now, certain things, then that is healing. Sometimes you just need to stop feeling a failure, for example, and if you receive some information and see that that's exactly not how it's meant to be perceived by you, and you discover that through scenes that you see in past lives, then it changes the theme. One of the things that I found with the past lives is what fixes it is so simple. The first thing is the person will remember what happened, exactly what happened, but the healing actually comes because they know why it happened. And that's the key with past life therapy, is to find out why. Because if people go back and find themselves maybe not a lovely person that they are now, then you mustn't be feeling traumatized by it, because you've been shown for a reason, and it might show you why you have such strength or why you dislike certain things or certain people. So that's the thing. If you understand why in the lifetime it happened, why you had to experience it, then it fixes it. And it sounds so simple, but that's all it takes. So when you go and remember where you've been before, who you've been, what you've done, then it's very liberating for you. Natural talents. So perhaps you've seen things where little children now, there's a lot of documentation on YouTube and that kind of thing, where little kids come back, or you might notice it in your own children or in yourself, where you always knew how to sing, or you always knew how to play the piano, or when you first did it, it was easy to you. Those are a couple of things. There's many things that you might be naturally good at, cooking, for example. And when it comes naturally to you, though you've not really been taught, or you just feel drawn to it, you feel excited about it, then you will usually find that it's something that you've excelled at before, and that's why it's easy now. Unexplained connections. Who's felt like they knew someone the moment they met them? Isn't it the best feeling? It's so extraordinary. So when you feel that connection, whether this is a friendship or it's a child you've birthed or it's someone that you have a big love relationship with, that instant connection is really special. And it's actually because it's mapped. You're supposed to meet in this time, but usually when that connection's very strong, you will discover that you have been together before in some form. Not always pleasant, even though you might be having a fabulous relationship now, your best friend, your wonderful partner, and you might find that before it wasn't so wonderful. We see lots of different connections. It's because our souls are connected and we're coming to learn about life in many ways together. I think people get really excited about meeting their soul family, but really in your lifetime, the people that you feel really touched by, sometimes it might be one person that you meet on the bus for a moment and you have a little conversation and it profoundly impacts you. So it doesn't need to be a long relationship, but it's these people that come in here and there to impact us for a short time or a long time. So the question now is, why would we explore past lives? The reason that we do so is to break patterns. So patterns that are bothering us. So usually we're looking for therapy because we're wanting to understand something, or we're wanting to clear something or feel better about something. So breaking patterns that we maybe continually do in our lives. It can be in relationships, it can be in your behavioural reactions or the way that you feel about certain things. So breaking these patterns is one reason why we would explore our past lives. And healing wounds is so broad, but wounds sometimes can be physical or emotional. But physical wounds, sometimes people have, we see this lots, they may have a sore back, for example, yet there's no reason to have it. And more than that, there's no reason to have it. Western medicine has been unable to find anything there or find a reason for this pain that someone gets in their chest. Any physical symptoms that make no sense, they will be an answer in a past life. And when you remember what caused it, then you will heal. The other thing with past lives is sometimes we come here to experience a certain body type or a certain illness, and what we can discover within the past life is, why did we do this? Why? And we can understand what was the deeper purpose to what we're doing in this life, and therefore we become peaceful about what's happening or the body that we're in. One of the biggest things that exploring your past lives does, because you're always communicating with your soul in that space, is it will deepen your awareness of yourself and who you are now. And self-awareness isn't about being a perfect person. It's about understanding why you do what you do and what your inherent characteristics are, and making peace with them. Because there's things about ourselves in this current life that we cannot change. There's characteristics that we're born with. There's certain insecurities that we're all born to do, to work through. And we're not flawed because of this. And when you start to get friendly with your soul, you deepen self-awareness of yourself. And also when you're aware of yourself, you are then more receptive to other people's ways. And if these are your children, for example, or your partner, makes you more tolerant. And not just of them, makes you more tolerant of everybody. and even what's going on in our world. The other thing when we're working through our past lives, we'll be shown, with past lives you may have had thousands of them, but what happens when you have past life regression, or if it's given to you sporadically in a meditation, you will be shown the ones that are relevant for now. So it's not that you'll be downloaded with everything, just the ones that are going to be helpful to you now. So when we talk about reconnecting with your purpose, you'll be shown lives or lifetimes that are relevant to what you're doing now, or that are going to help you through it now. Reconnecting with your purpose. Can I say your purpose is actually every minute of every day? It's always, it's not an outcome, it's not something that we reach and then we've done our thing. It's every minute of every day. So the emotions that we feel, the reactions that we have, they're all relevant. But reconnecting with a purpose, there may be something specific that you are working towards, even career-wise or as a parent, whatever it might be. You can find some more information about it. And I think there's times where people feel like they're blocked or they don't know what's next. And often then it's a great time to have explore your past lives and be shown. Sometimes you're shown something like being really peaceful and not chasing things and almost being told to surrender. But regardless, when it's given to you in your past life, it's told to you from your soul. So in a way, what's happening is you're remembering what you were doing now, and it resonates then. It's very, very touching. So really, when you're having past life therapy, your soul is telling you or reminding you what you're doing. So a couple of client stories. These were a few that came to mind as I was doing this PowerPoint. So intuition is something that brought me towards past lives. So when I put intuition was freed up, it was one of the reasons that I had my first past life therapy session, was I wanted to know, why am I in my middle 30s and I don't know about being intuitive? And what happened from that was my intuition went on fire after I had that session and saw why it had stopped in the first place, or why I wasn't game to really embrace it. And I feel like most people that are here will have this same strong intuition, and either they're using it and aware of it, but if you're not, the answer will lie in a past life. Personally, I saw myself in Scotland and about to be hung you were deemed a witch. I was deemed a witch. And I think many people that come for past life regression find such a thing, or at least find where they've been ostracised in a past life, and it has a big impact on what they're doing now. It affects their confidence. It affects their intuition potentially, and many other things as well. But once you see it, look out. I also asked for public speaking because I went through my younger life not being able to speak in front of people at all. It was almost as though I would faint if I was speaking in front of people. And I don't even mean in this way. For me, it would be that you were talking to my family. I had only 5 people in my family, and this feeling would come over me. So, and I didn't even know that was a phobia when I was young, but later when I found out, oh, that's a bit weird, I'll ask about that in the past life. And I saw myself speaking, not publicly necessarily, but speaking about what I knew in old times. And you know what happened after that? Can't shut me up. So it worked, and it will work for you too. So if you have to speak for work and you get petrified, then there will be a reason for it. Some people can push through it and force themselves to do it, to get up and do it. But it can be easier if you find what actually caused you to feel that way in the first place. And I think sometimes when people have fears, such as speaking in front of people, there's this assumption that it's normal, but it's not. And some people, it's easy for them to get up and talk in front of people. And for some, it's petrifying. But if it's petrifying and you have to do it, or you want to do it, then explore your past lives, because it will free it up for you. I think one of the other very big things... Actually, let me ask, who's afraid of public speaking? Does anyone have to do it? Okay. Maybe ask about it in the workshop. But when you find out what it is, you suddenly, almost immediately, could. But can I also tell you on that level, when you have a regression, sometimes your healing is instant, as if you had a physical symptom. Sometimes it vanishes immediately. We had a lady in a course, and her back was so bad, she was laying down. She was a psychologist, actually. She was laying down on the floor in the classroom. And anyway, we regressed her in front of everyone because it was a training class. And she got up and was immediately better. And I can't quite remember the exact details, but I think what she saw was falling off a horse, and it hit her in the... she fell on a rock or something, and it damaged her back. So that was what she saw. And when she saw it, it was like, oh, my back pain's gone. So you never know what you'll see. Actually, you never know what you'll see for any symptom. Let's talk about relationship healing. So relationships can be where you are excited about your relationship. So excited, you want to see when you've been together before, and you're curious, and that's so cute and lovely, and you can, of course, explore for those reasons. But generally, relationship healing, people might seek it out because there's a relationship that they have to be involved with that's really hard for them. And I always use the mother-in-law for an example, because you hear people talking about it from both sides where they maybe don't always get along. So, but if you have to, and in a family situation like that, it's nice to understand why. And generally you'll see exactly why you have an aversion to them, or they have an aversion to you. So, but the thing is with our past lives, or any therapy really, we only can take care of ourselves. Our mother-in-law might not believe in past lives, nor so you could go and take care of yourself and how you then react with that person. It's not just mothers-in-laws, of course. It might be our love relationship or some things that go on with the relationship. Sometimes people become very different with one person. For example, they may have had various relationships and weren't at all jealous, and then there's this one person that they're with, and it ticks them off and makes them behave in a different way. So those types of things are where we can get answers from the past lives. Has anyone done or recalled a past life in a dream? I think a past life dream is very literal. So sometimes our dreams are metaphorical, where they're like, well, there's some weird things going on there, makes no sense, but it does make sense if you can work them out. But with the past life dreams, they're very literal, just like you're in the past life, and generally you don't forget them. They're very strong, and usually even with if there's people in there that you know, then you can recognize them within the dream as well. And same in past lives. If there's people you've been with before in your past life experience, you can recognize them. So even if they're your mama now, for example, you might see them as your little brother in another time, or even just in a completely different capacity, a completely different role, but you recognise the energy of that person. So it's really exciting. I think that recognising people in past lives is something that's always exciting for people. And sometimes it's shocking or annoying if someone doesn't get along with someone now and they see them. They can get a bit disappointed, but what happens is it will change the dynamic of the relationship. Maybe it stops affecting them so much, how awful that relationship makes them feel. It's 11:11 here, I see. Okay, so another client story would be, if we're talking about business success, people see all sorts of reasons why they may hold back in this lifetime, or maybe they go through various business strategies and it doesn't turn out. And they might see where they have made a pact before, or they've been really careless with money. It's all sorts of things that could happen. But if you're feeling like you need to be freed up to get into your business or understand what's gone on within business ventures, then your past lives will hold the key somehow, somewhere. So there are so many client stories that I almost forget them. But one I can tell you, because it just happened this week, is I had a client who I saw 5 months ago, and she had migraine headaches, and she told me this week that she hasn't had one since. So that's an example of a physical symptom. But there's so many symptoms that just clear. One of the other things perhaps we could talk a little bit about, because it comes up a fair bit, is fertility or infertility. Infertility is something a lot of people struggle with, and when desperately trying to have a child and cannot. And for some it will be because this lifetime is not for that, but for many of you it is. So you can find out what happened that maybe is blocking subconsciously having a child or falling pregnant. So fertility is another big symptom that we see a lot of success with in past lives, and reasons why. So a few client stories. Let's keep going. My favourite part is always Q&A. But let's go. So the process of recalling your past lives is very gentle. It's calm. It's peaceful. So if you're having it in therapy, you're guided into a relaxed state, and then your soul is going to be dropping memories in of past lives that are relevant to you now and that are going to be helpful to you now. So that's what it is. It's accessing all of these subconscious memories, but only the ones that are relevant for now. So what happens in this process as we work through and gather all of the information through the past life, we get to the end of the past life, and the most important space in the therapy is the death scene. So because when we get to the death scene and we see how we died, can I tell you, 99% of the time it's peaceful, and just as it is, or certainly we always see that. But when it's when you pass is when you're talking to your soul, and that's where we get the big answers from. And in therapy, you're given a message from your soul, and for some reason, because it's from your soul, actually, that's the reason, it resonates. And you have your energy adjusted as well in that space, and yippee, life is better. You know what? No matter what people see in their past life session, when you come out at the end, they'll always say they feel lighter. So it's a special thing. There's also a side effect of past life regression, and it is that you know then that life goes on. So it reduces or puts aside the fear of death. And the fear of death is something that affects all people, one way or another, even if you think about that we buy vitamins, because it's actually subconsciously we're going to live longer, we're going to take care of ourselves, we want to be healthy. So releasing the fear of death helps us to live more fully in life. And that, I think, is really the basis of doing past life therapy, is to live your life to the fullest now, not in fear or not in pain. Or if you are in pain, knowing why, what's the purpose of it? There's a reason, and there'll be a deeper purpose to it. When you know it, it's like, oh, it's so liberating. So we're going to keep going. So the reason that we say regress to progress is because when you regress back and see yourself in different times, having felt perhaps the same feelings that you feel now, or seeing yourself in roles that are perhaps more confident now or more strong in leadership, then when you see that, you come back empowered by these lifetimes that you've seen, or these feelings or characteristics that you know you've had before. So it helps you to really embrace now. So we're going backwards to make forwards better, and to clear any blocks that might be there. Blocks, I don't usually like that word, but blocks are when you are potentially feeling down on yourself, or you don't feel as confident as you'd like to. Those are blocks. They stop you doing what you could potentially be doing. So when you regress, you start to live your life with more awareness. Awareness of yourself, and then awareness of others around. And really, once you realise that there is meaning behind all of the things that happen in your life, the parents that you have, the children that you have, then things start to make a lot of sense, and you stop feeling so challenged by what's going on in your life or what has happened in your life, because a lot happens in life. I'm sure we all have stories of trauma and big things that impacted us. So once we feel more aware of what we're doing here and why things have happened, we can start to feel, clear about what we're doing, clear about the reason for things that have happened. It grows compassion within us. We can have self-compassion. You feel better about what we've been through, and also more compassion for other people when you realise that they're living through their life. Even though we have past lives, this life is a new one. So we're going through it for the first time, the life process. And we also notice that life is less random. So you start to become aware of serendipity and how connected things are. How I know a lot of people would have used to call it coincidence, but sometimes, and now I think more than ever, it's so obvious that there are connections. Like you might see the same street name or see the same name 3 times in a day and in different scenarios, and there'll be a reason for it. Perhaps you're meeting someone with that name, or it's a reminder of someone that you know. So life starts to feel a little less random, or a lot less random. Regress to progress. Always about now, this life, making it better, freeing yourself to live. Life, or this body that we have, enables us to do things that we cannot in the soul state. So it's really important that we make the most of it. So touch, taste, sound, listen to your music how you want to. Or maybe you like silence. Touch, taste, sound, hearing, and emotions. Those are the things that the human experience gives us, and that's what a body facilitates for us. Thoughts that drive us crazy, overactive mind, all of those things are happening here. They're for the human experience. Oops. Okay. We're going to do some Q&A in a minute. But first I would like to let you know that we are having a workshop in Sydney on the 6th and 7th of September, and it's going to be 2 full days, big days, where we're going to be exploring not just past lives but beyond, and the reason that you're here, and also things that are going on in your life. So it's for self-development. It's called Everyday Recall. So we've put this really special program together to help you if you're interested in exploring those realms. So we also do practitioner training at the Toni Reilly Institute, and we still do consultations. But if you're interested in this workshop, the 2-day workshop, you can come and see us at the stand afterwards, at stand B8, but we're doing a workshop at 12:55 today, just over here in the workshop stage, if you'd like to just have a little glimpse into a past life. We'll guide you in. So I would like to throw it out and just ask, does anyone have a question? Forgive me, I can't see you that well, but the girls have got a microphone, so she'll bring the microphone. This lady in the front.
Hello, Toni. My name's Julianne.
Hi, Julianne.
Thank you for your talk. It was very interesting. I am the very lucky recipient of organ donation. And so I'm wondering whether it would be at all possible to investigate or understand who my donors might have been.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm sure when you work transcendently, which is what you're doing when you're recalling past lives, sometimes you also go beyond the past life. So it's very possible to get some extraordinary answers. And wow, fantastic. You're a picture of health with your organ. Amazing. So yes, the answer is yes. Who've we got now? Oh, this lady down the front.
Hi. I just was a bit confused. Early on you said that each life is contained.
Yes.
So how then does that information come down? Because my understanding of containment would mean that it's just contained in that life. So I understand what you're saying about getting visions, but how then is it that information comes from one life to another if they're all contained?
What I'm saying is the experiences that we have within this, we'll call it this life, there's a plan within that life for what's going to play out. So your soul memories knows all of the lifetimes that you've had, but this life has a series of events, characteristics, circumstances that will play out. That's what I mean by contained.
Okay.
If you're even in this life drawn to explore your past lives, that's part of the containment in this life. And more so with the containment, it's about you're not paying for things that you've done before. It's a fresh slate.
In relation to karmic, but I was just curious then, if it doesn't affect you with karmic sort of payment, then how does it affect you with information? But it just does. Thank you.
Okay. Just, she's bringing up the microphone.
Hello. So I get very vivid thoughts, vivid dreams, but also suffer with anxiety. So for me, it's a matter of like, how do I know that the thoughts that I get are from my past life downloads, or I'm just anxious about a situation that's coming? Example, public speaking. How do you know that's not anxiety of the product of your environment rather than a download, for example?
Oh, okay. Anxiety now will be directing you to do something or not do something. It's in the physical form now. But if it's from a past life and it's extreme and it's making no sense, that's when you would go back and explore
So,
whether it's from somewhere
say,
else.
hypothetically, mine is public speaking. Absolutely hate it. But how do I know that that's from a past life? Or how do I know that it's just because I have social anxiety, I'm not really good with people, I'm not confident with people? So, like, how do you then, like, see
Look,
the difference between the two?
The only way that you would know is if you go and explore your past lives, and you'll absolutely be shown something that will help with those feelings that you have now or that anxiety. And it's difficult to say what, and to be honest, I'd be reluctant to say what it would be in case that's what you see and then you think, oh, I only saw that because she said it.
Yeah.
But people see all sorts of things with anxiety. With public speaking, it will be having been ostracised or killed for what you've spoken out about. So those are the usual things that we see for public speaking. But with really strong anxiety, it could be sometimes people have suffocated and it gives this anxious feeling or this anxious sensation. So it's not always what you think it might be. It can be from a physical experience that the anxiety comes. But there's only one way to find out, and it's to explore them.
Right, no worries.
Or the
Thank
one
you.
way to know. We'll come to you soon.
Hi, I'm wondering what you think of experiencing past life in plant medicine ceremonies, because my experience been only in that.
Yeah.
And so far, when I relive that past life, it hasn't been really a relief in this human experience. It's more traumatizing, and it's happened quite a few times. Is that a lack of integration, or what's your take on that?
I know that when we do past life therapy, we make sure that it's integrated, and it only takes to understand why to integrate it. Why did that happen? So I think if you're left with feeling traumatized by the past life that you've seen, it's really important, whether you do it yourself in meditation, find out why. Why was I that? Why did that happen? And when your soul gives you the answer, you will feel relief.
Well, because it seems like it's a pattern. I'm wondering why the answer is not there. It's just the experience, but the why is missing. Or like that example that you gave, if somebody fell on the rock.
Yeah.
So the pain disappeared because they understood the pain was because of the rock.
Yes. Yes, so it depends. If it's physical, it's very hands-on usually what the cause is, and it can take it away immediately. But if it's emotional or fear, then you might need to understand why it happens, because I'm not sure what has happened, but I know that some terrible things happen to people, and they remember some terrible things that have happened. So in that case, it's really important to find out why. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This lady at the front here. Oh, we can go up there before you come back.
Who's next? Right here. She's got a... Sorry.
It's dark up there.
Thanks. My question is, I've got two questions. I feel I'm reincarnated from someone in my family in this generation and 4 generations up. I've been shown 2 different things. So can it be both? Is there a time factor? Is as in, how long does it take to reincarnate? Can you have the reincarnations over generations? And the second question is, are you more likely to be reincarnated from someone in your family or someone from your distant bloodline, or is it completely random?
I don't know that it's more likely, but we see a lot where people are reincarnated back into the same generational history, back into the same family. We see a lot of it. We also see where people are already born in this life, but they see themselves as someone else in the same time frame. So we can... It seems, we've seen it happen, it seems we can be here at the same time, or certainly time overlaps. It might only be a year or 2, but it can overlap. So the answer is, we've seen it all. And there's no time frame for us to reincarnate, because once we're not in the body, there is no time, which is hard to fathom. But you can feel it when you're in that transcendent space. You can feel that there's no time, or have a sense of it. So I guess the answer to your questions is it's all possible. And I think what you see, or what we see a lot now, is children that come in and they remember, or maybe they recognise that they were somebody within the family, and they're back again.
Thank you. And can you be reincarnated in a non-human life form?
Okay. Mostly this work for me was human, because it was about the therapeutic value of it. You know what? I don't know, but I do know that people see pets that have passed and they recognise having had that pet before. It's a different pet, but they recognise that it's their pet. So, but as far as people ever telling me that they reincarnated as an animal, I haven't had that happen. But I'm not saying it's not possible. It just wasn't part of this work. Ooh. Oh, okay. Here, have we got? Okay.
Sorry, like just hi, my name is Derek.
Hello, Derek.
Just sometimes in this life, as a human being, we sometimes get stuck in our problems in like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and then we just think about it. And then when you have experience about past life, would you not have the same behavior that would be stuck thinking about your past life?
Well, the reason that it's therapeutic is because you understand why, so it stops doing that. You stop wondering because you know why. You know why it happened. And if you're thinking about something that happened in this life and you experience a past life that also helps you understand why that happened, it puts an end to that process that you're in this life. So it always puts an end to it, rather than make you start thinking about it more. Unless, of course, you're excited about your past life. You might think about that a bit.
Okay, thank you.
Over here.
Hang on.
The microphone. Oh, I might be able to hear you and I can repeat your question. Or if you wait a moment, we'll get the microphone down.
I just have a question, as in when you have people from your past, like if you go to a medium and they say, oh, I'm connecting with your great-grandmother, your mother, your whoever, then you're saying that you can reincarnate very quickly. So how can you be associating with those people from the past if they've already reincarnated to a human form now? That's a bit confusing for me.
It's because the soul is limitless. So the spirit of, let's say, your grandmother, when the medium says, I can get your grandmother, her soul is limitless. I don't know how else to describe it, but the spirit that she was here as Grandma Mary it still exists for you. So that's, again, for the human experience. When we start exploring the afterlife and we need to hear from people in the afterlife, is for our human experience. But Grandma Mary is most likely reincarnated. It might even be your daughter already, or something like that.
Okay, thank you. There was just a bit of confusion with that.
They're always available.
Hi. I just wanted to know, have you ever had anyone that's come up with a twin flame reconnection, or remembered something about their twin flame in this lifetime?
When I work with people in past lives or even beyond, they never talk about twin flames. I think twin flames is a bit of a human concept for us to get very excited about. Of course, we have soulmates and people we come back with, we do. But when you're working transcendently, you'll be told more about the purpose of the connection of the person that you're asking about, rather than told it's a twin flame connection. You'll be told what was the purpose of it, why has this happened, what was mapped out to happen with these people, these two people.
And is that something you will give an answer for?
I don't give any answers. We facilitate it so that your soul gives you the answer.
Right. So, but this is doing one of your things, like one of your workshops.
Oh, you if that's your intention to find out, then yes, you'll find an answer.
And I can bring the person in this lifetime that I've met that is the twin flame.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
There's a lady down the front here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, Toni.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Gillian. Right
Hello,
here.
Julian.
My question is, it's in regard to rewriting a past life. I've heard and experienced in regression where the experience, for example, falling off the horse with the rock, that just being aware of the fall and the rock creating the pain, you're saying that that's enough just to recognise or become aware of the why, and that will reverse the whatever the affliction is, the pain. What I've experienced and what I have seen is where the regression practitioner has actually rewritten the story. They've been able to, through psychic medium work, see whatever the circumstance was, and then instead of the person falling off the horse and hitting the rock, they've retrained the subconscious mind and the soul story to say that, for example, the person continued the ride, had a wonderful day, concluded the ride, was happy, healthy, well, had no accident, went on to live a long and happy life with no problems, etc. Amen. And that is how the healing has occurred for the person who's received the regret or been part of that regression therapy practice. What sort of insight do you have on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we do in recall therapy is you can't change what's happened. It's happened. So all we do is find out, why did it happen? Why? What was the purpose? That's what fixes it. We can't change what's happened. We can't change what's happened to us before this minute either. So if we find out why, then we can reach peace. Really, if we're working in that way to rewrite the story, we're putting a Band-Aid on something. It's not really healed. So if we find out why, then it will make a difference. Yeah, and I guess another thing to say to that is it's the human mind thinking it's got control of being able to change things, but it doesn't really work like that. Again, we'll get a Band-Aid. Yeah. Okay, I've got time for one more quick question. Who wants it?
Hi, Toni. I notice you use the word "we" a lot. Are you referring to your human team, or are you referring to a divine team that you're working with?
I didn't know I was saying we. So there's probably a bit of both. Because I think the connection's pretty strong when you're streaming, when you're talking, and your flow's happening. So it could be a bit of both. But probably when I'm saying we, with the work that we've done, there's been Dr. Tanya here and my daughter Coco, and other people have been involved with what we've established. So yeah. if anyone does want to do any work with us, you can, if you scan that code, you can put your name and email in, and we'll email you a discount code. If you maybe want to do a course or come to the workshop that we're doing in Sydney, go ahead and do that. And do come and talk to us at stand B8. We'll be there. And it's been lovely having you in here talking about past lives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toni. And, well, a nice round of applause for our lovely Toni. I mean, I have had so much development in my life from understanding the past, and I hope that people here have the same thing. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to have a small break here now, and Peter Smith will be talking about quantum consciousness very shortly. Now, everything is quantum these days, but we will examine that, so please be back here by 5 minutes to 12, and I'll have a chat with Pete, and he will go on after that. So thank you very much. Enjoy the little break for a few minutes. See you back here